afternoon, friends. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm Claire McKee, and this is Real Market Movers on Real Talk San Diego. And as always, this show is presented by our loyal partners at 5 Star Escrow and First American Title. On Real Market Movers, we feature some of the best agents in San Diego and really letting you learn a little bit more about them and what they're all about and why you may be inclined to do business with them. So joining me today is Dave Suter. He is the broker of Suter Realty. Hi, Dave.
Hi, how are you?
Good. Glad to have you here.
My pleasure.
So we are, I think we're going to shake it up a little bit today.
Indeed.
Because you're the 1% commission guy,
Yep.
and I'm sure you catch a little flack for that. But before we get into that, I got to give you a little trouble, and I've got some fun questions for you on the front end.
All right.
I know you've been waiting for this moment, Dave. I know you're excited. So
yeah.
give us a fun fact about yourself.
How about I worked my way through college as a professional musician?
Okay, most people would be like, that's a dying industry. You can't make money being a musician.
You can't anymore, that's for sure. The people who do it really have to work 3 or 4 different bands and everything.
Yeah.
But back in those times, it was, I mean, you could do okay. You weren't going to get
so
rich, but it was way
Yeah.
better then. Of
Hey,
course.
and to work your way through college, that's pretty awesome while having fun and doing the gig life. And,
Yeah,
you know.
well, it worked perfectly because it was weekends.
Right. Best of both worlds. There you go. Okay, how about this? If you could choose one age to be forever, how old would you be?
I like 35.
Why is that?
You don't know what you're doing quite in your 20s, even though when you're in your 20s you think you do.
Oh, yeah, like,
So-
I got this.
But by the time you get somewhere around 35 or 40, you really kind of get stable. I mean, it continues.
Yeah.
I don't regret being my age now. I'm just
Sure.
saying, though, but that would be
That'd be a sweet
cool
spot.
time, yeah.
It's funny because I used to say when somebody asked me that, I'd be like 25. Well, now I'm about to be 27, and I'm like, 25, not yet. We
Yeah,
need to make it a
exactly.
few more years. Dave, what's the coolest place you've ever traveled to?
The Sinai Peninsula, a town called Sharm el-Sheikh
Okay.
in Egypt on the Red Sea.
On the Red Sea. Is there like a favorite memory from that trip that you have?
No, it was the whole experience. We were scuba diving, and but it was just interacting with the people. I thought it was going to be real negative. I thought they'd be like, "Oh, you're an American," and
Get
not
out
at
of
all. They were impressed, and they were really impressed. Like when they would find out you were from California, that was like, that was magic.
Yeah, I
So,
believe it. And I think there's something so special about interacting with the culture and the people and just kind of assimilating to what they do every day.
Yeah.
Very
That
cool.
was it.
Okay, so next question for you. What's an item on your bucket list? What's something you want to check off?
I think I want to spend a half a year cruising around the world, just going from interesting place to interesting place, and
Yeah.
not having any work for that half a year.
No one can call you because you're in the
Right.
middle of the ocean, Dave.
Exactly.
How about your least favorite course in school? Like, what was the class that you could not stand going to?
I'll go with neuroanatomy.
Thank God I didn't have to take that course. I'm with you all the way. I had to take trigonometry, and I don't know what they were thinking with that, but never again. I barely squeaked by with a B. Last question. So you just went on a straight-up journey across the U.S. Tell us, you went from Jacksonville, Florida to Los Angeles, right? Why the heck did you do that?
Actually, my son just graduated from medical school, and we spoke while we were on the road last week. But he's moving to LA to do his residency in anesthesiology, and
Wow.
so we basically got a U-Haul and attached it behind his Jeep and hauled it across. We made it in
Here
2.5
we go.
days.
2.5 days.
Yeah.
So how much driving was that every day?
15 hours, both. The first 2 days, 15 hours. The last day, only 6, because we were in Phoenix. We just had to go to LA.
Oh my gosh. How often did you have to stop? Or were you just, because it's like 2 dudes in a car, I can imagine you probably went really far without stopping, huh?
Well, we stopped for gas
Yeah.
and other necessities.
Yeah. Let you go to the bathroom every now and then?
Yeah,
Okay,
pretty much.
cool.
And then we tried to incorporate the two.
Yeah.
We're stopping for gas. Let's.
2 for 1 special. We will not stop again. Amazing. So I love to hear about those family road trips, and that's a lot of time to spend with someone. So you both are still alive
good.
and well.
We get along really well.
That's awesome.
So.
I'm sure you're happy to have him back closer to you as well.
Indeed.
Because now you can just go see him on the weekend.
Absolutely.
Super cool. So, guys, we're just getting started. Hopefully that let you know a little bit more about what Dave is all about. But if you like what you see, be sure to click follow on our live feed so you can be notified every time we go live. And the best thing about being on Facebook Live is that we get to interact with you, our live audience. So drop us a comment if you're watching, say hello. And if you have any questions for Dave or myself, we would love to answer them on air. So stick with us. We are going to dive right in. And I said we're going to be a little controversial today because If you're familiar with the real estate industry, the kind of standard for commission is 2%, 2.5%, 3%. And Dave's our 1% guy, and you're a major advocate of it, and I'm really excited to learn more about that. So why don't you just start out by telling us the most basic thing? How do you sell homes for less than everyone else?
Well, it's really a combination of things, but mainly I'm a broker, so I don't have to split my commission with anybody.
Okay.
But I also work out of my home office, so I don't have the overhead. I mean, I have
Okay.
marketing and the normal other overhead,
Yeah.
but not a lot of overhead. But short of that, when you really look at the amount of money 3% is, if $1 million house is not unusual now, that's $30,000.
Right.
I don't know how much you think your doctor makes, but they probably make about $4,000 a month, or I'm sorry, about $4,000 a week.
Mm-hmm.
The average listing takes about a week's worth, 35, 40 hours.
Especially in this market.
Right. So $30,000 for 1 week versus $4,000 your doctor gets. It seemed a little bit excessive to me, and I know that people don't always want to pay that much.
Right.
So 1% is now $10,000, still pretty reasonable.
Yeah, it doesn't
in my
seem
opinion.
like you're starving,
In
making
my opinion,
10,000.
no. I mean, we sold 30 houses last year. So,
Yeah.
no, we're fine.
So I'm sure you get this question a lot. Are you cutting corners? Like, what's the gimmick, right? Like, you're doing it for less than everyone else. How is that possible?
Well, I mean, can't speak for other people. I'm not the only one in town, but we decided to offer basically the full marketing strategy that everybody else does. We copy them essentially.
Yeah.
We don't cut corners at all. In fact, in a way, I think we're better because we actually offer one-on-one, like more of a boutique. It's my wife and I who work with the clients directly the whole time. We don't turn them over to staff and or a team,
Sure.
which is basically a bunch of other people.
Yeah. Who are you? Or
yeah.
what?
They text us, they emailed us, they call us. We're pretty much available 24/7.
Yeah.
I mean, we have that availability now. Our children are grown and gone, so
Yeah.
we can be available to them, and people like that.
Yeah, I'm sure. And so you're not providing less service. How do you compare to maybe like the Redfin, for example?
I don't know. I think the main difference there, I don't know, I won't speak again for them completely, but they're going to hire agents, and those agents work more on a salary, perhaps maybe plus some commission basis. I'm independent, and they're dealing directly with the broker again, with me. And I'm the one financially responsible for it as well. I'm not an employee of somebody else.
Right, that's true.
So I think you're dealing with the how do you want to say it, the primary guy who's responsible for the outcome of the business and things like that.
Sure.
So I don't know that we're doing it necessarily better, but they're getting a more experienced agent. I already mentioned I'm a broker. I also am 20 plus years as a professional real estate investor.
Okay.
So they're getting a lot of negotiating experience and a lot of that that a standard sales associate might not be able to offer them as an employee of Redfin.
Sure, sure. And not to mention the level of service. Like you said, you're there to answer your phone. You're not getting passed around. Who am I talking to this time? They don't know my story or my situation. They're always going to communicate with you or your wife.
Exactly.
And that goes a long way. So let's talk a little bit more about the experience. Like when someone hires the Suitor team, what does that look like? What's the experience that they're receiving working with you and your wife?
Well, again, it stems from our long experience as investors. We started this as investors only. The broker license was, I had that over 10 years ago, but it was only for our own investing purposes originally. But we've done literally hundreds of our own deals. So we don't just play with house money. We've played with our own money and been involved with some pretty stressful purchases and sales over the years. And that's the school of hard knocks that, after 20 plus years of doing that, you know how to help other people get through the hoops and the problems. And you also learn how to negotiate and how to get the best result financially for yourself, so you just simply then transfer that to your client. You treat your client's money like it's yours, and you fight for them and try to get them the best outcome they can possibly get.
I love that. So you started in the investment space, and then that's why you got your broker's license, because you figured I might as well be doing my own deals, right?
Well, it started to be because I didn't want to pay high fees to agents. No, and we used to have a lot of California properties, and I've since sold them, and they're mostly in Oklahoma, but I saved that money. And then I'm a broker in Oklahoma, so I can go in those deals. I
Yeah.
get paid on those deals as well.
Okay.
And that's how it started. It was all just for my own investment purposes.
I'd like to talk about the investment space a little bit because I know some people who watch our shows, they want to dabble with flipping homes themselves, or maybe they have a home and they know that real estate is an amazing tool for building wealth, right?
It is.
So they're thinking, okay, what's my next move? Should I do an income type property? Do you have any advice in that space, like as far as what might be a good deal, what to look for, how you could help?
Well, you know, the more I do this, the more I learn there's no one pat answer to that, because it depends on the investment goals, the financial ability. For instance, just as a broad stroke, California is all about appreciation. So when you invest here, you're going to feed that property money. They don't spin money off to you.
Right.
In Oklahoma, I have a lot of multifamily properties. They're way less expensive to buy. I don't expect them to appreciate a lot, but they generate cash flow. So it's a different strategy. So it depends on what you want. They're both equally valuable,
Right.
depending on your goal.
That's a really interesting point. So, do you advise that like why did you decide to invest in Oklahoma City? Was it for that reason, cost of living and just
Because I couldn't keep feeding properties. We were buying properties, and in California, I say you have to feed them. It means they either break even if you're lucky or have some negative cash flow. So you keep buying them, you start running out of money to feed them
Gotcha.
while you're waiting them to appreciate.
I see.
You'll get your money,
right?
but
how long can you wait?
right. And so we actually
Okay.
first started investing in Scottsdale.
Okay.
And then it went crazy before the big crash. This is in the early 2000s.
Okay.
And that's when we kind of moved to Oklahoma because those prices were much more reasonable and stable. And the rents could justify the prices for the houses. They
Yeah.
weren't really negative cash flows, even back then.
So really, it sounds to me like you want to meet with a real estate professional and your mortgage lender on the front end, so three of you can work together and figure out what's going to make the most sense for your goals and what's going to pencil out.
Well,
in the
and
end.
working with someone who's been an investor is going to help.
2-for-1 special.
Because
right there.
because you're going to get that insight. I only figured this out over I learned school of hard knocks
Yeah,
pretty much. Tried
absolutely.
this, tried that. So
You do it all the ways wrong, and then hopefully you can, tell someone else how to do it right.
they've not all been winners.
Yeah,
So,
of course.
yeah.
Yeah, you learn the hard way sometimes. So I think what I appreciate about you, Dave, and is really just how entrepreneurial minded you are. You mentioned that you have over 170 properties that you manage.
Yeah, that's how many units we have. We don't manage them on a day-to-day, but that's
You
how
have a
many we
management
own.
company,
They're mostly
or-
townhomes,
Okay.
condos, apartments. We do have about a half a dozen or a dozen houses left over in Oklahoma, but they're mostly multifamily now.
Wow.
So we have a management company, but we're involved in it every day. I was answering questions on email this morning, so we keep our fingers in it.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
we go there frequently as well.
Have to have a pulse on it, I think. I believe I actually just saw, I was doing a little Facebook creeping, and I think you were in Oklahoma City not that long ago with a beautiful view of the lake.
Yeah, that's our condo over there.
Is it? See, Facebook's amazing. You can find out anything. I knew what Dave was doing last month. So, more and more people are moving to this 1% model, and I just am curious, why do you think that is? Is there a trend here? People are realizing?
I think so. Well, it wouldn't work in Oklahoma. I mean, a house in Oklahoma that sells for $900,000 is 150, 200. I mean, I said that backwards.
Right.
A house here that's 900 is 200 over there, or 150. You've got to make 3% over there because
That's so true.
That's
Right.
So it's not going to work everywhere. The only reason it works here is because the houses have gone up so crazy. If you look at over the last 20 years, property prices have doubled.
Right.
Like,
But the work put into it to sell it
yeah.
is in theory the same, right?
And it's not necessary that no one deserves a raise.
Of
But,
course.
but at a certain point, it's gotten so, in my opinion, there's so much fat in there now that's why that you see more and more folks starting to chip away at that model. That's why the big corporations are going after it. Redfin, there's others
Right.
as well that are going after it now because it's like Costco coming into town.
I mean, that's so true. Or Amazon, get
Yeah.
it tomorrow for half the price, like
Yeah.
at your doorstep.
Yeah.
So you got to be competitive.
Yeah.
I know here at Real Talk, we're also seeing people starting to offer options. So for 1%, I can do this for you. For 2%, if you're more comfortable here. So at least there's options and you're not feeling like you're so locked into that huge amount of money you're about to
Yeah.
give your realtor. So, Dave, if somebody is interested in working with you, they want to find more about you, suitorrealty.com. Is there a better way to reach you?
They can go to the website. My phone number's on there, or certainly
Perfect.
they can give us a call.
You can give out your phone number if
Yes,
you'd like.
it's 858-564-8531 is the office number, and you can press 1 and go right to my cell if you need to talk to me right away.
Awesome. He won't answer right this second, but give him a few minutes and he will get back to you.
Yes.
Again, that's Dave Suter, broker at Suter Realty, and he is kind of paving the way for the 1% commission model. If you have any opinions on this, I'm sure some of our real estate friends are watching. Feel free to drop us a comment. But Dave, I'd like to come back to you and just kind of in conclusion to wrap up here. What is your takeaway? Like, what is most important for you to have our audience remember from the information you shared?
That they don't have to pay 2 or 3 times as much to get a full, if you're buying or selling your home, you don't have to pay that much money. I think that a misconception that is propagated in the industry is from 20 years ago, where you have to be the neighborhood specialist or something like that to be able to sell a home. A lot of consumers still believe that, and realtors use it. God bless them. I mean, it works, but 94% of the transactions in San Diego are sold by a buyer's agent. Only less than 1 out of 10 are represented. Does the listing agent find the buyer is what I'm getting at. So if the listing agent isn't finding the buyer, why does he have to be the neighborhood specialist or anybody else for that matter?
Yeah, that's true. And also, I think on the front end, buyer's agents are probably putting in more work, time, money invested to find that home, which would, in my mind, be more justifiable for a higher commission.
It's
right?
way more. It's definitely 2 or 3 times as much work on the buyer side. Yeah.
Do you help buyers as well, Dave?
We do. We do. We offer a small rebate of the commission, like some of the bigger companies do, but not down to 1%. For exactly the reasons we just talked about. My wife is showing properties today. She was out showing the same couple yesterday. There's a lot of time involved searching properties, showing them, discussing them, making offers.
Could be a 6-month, year, 2-year process sometimes,
Often
right?
it is, Often it is.
Now, where are you based in San Diego?
Scripps Ranch.
Scripps Ranch. But do you cover all the county? Like, you'll go everywhere?
We do. Last year I had a listing in Fallbrook at the same time I had one in Imperial Beach. So we're not opposed to going anywhere.
Yeah, absolutely. Wonderful. Well, Dave, thank you so much for being here today. Any final thoughts or anything else you want to add before we say bye-bye to our friends?
Nope.
Wonderful. Well, check out Dave Suter. He is a broker at Suter Realty. You can find him at suterrealty.com. And thank you so much for watching. This has been the Real Market Movers on Real Talk San Diego, coming to you live from Smarter San Diego Studios. I'm Claire McKee. You know the drill. Go love everyone, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.